everyone, today we're going to take a look at this 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. The Pacifica gets a facelift for 2021 that consists of updated styling front and rear. You can get it with a new high-resolution infotainment system. Active safety features are now standard on this vehicle, where they used to be optional. And then the big addition for 2021 is that you can now get this vehicle with all-wheel drive. Now, on that note, Chrysler announced that the Pacifica would be gaining all-wheel drive for 2021 about halfway through the 2020 model year, and they chose to actually build several 2020 model year Pacificas with all-wheel drive. So while all-wheel drive is more or less an addition for 2021, you could still get this vehicle with all-wheel drive in 2020. It was just limited to, I think, one trim level, and there really weren't that many of them made. So anyway, that's just a weird bit of automotive trivia. Either way though, let's take a closer look at the Pacifica. So the most noteworthy styling change to the Pacifica for 2021 is this new grille. SUVs are so popular these days that minivan makers have taken to making their minivans more SUV-like, and I have to think that's what Chrysler was doing when they gave this vehicle a larger grille. You'll probably remember the previous model year Pacifica had a narrower grille. It was mostly confined to the area just beneath the hood here. Now for 2021, Pacifica gets a much more aggressive, dare I say, SUV-like grille. This is a limited all-wheel drive model, and it also has the S appearance package. So that's where you get these black wheels, the blacked out grille, blacked out trim. There's no chrome anywhere on this vehicle. I really like this blue exterior color. It's pretty bold. Power tailgate. Plenty of space back here. So despite having all-wheel drive, this one retains its stow-and-go seating. So those second row captain's chairs can be manually folded flat into the floor, and then there's a third row back here that is currently folded into the floor and can be deployed via these buttons right here. Takes a minute, definitely takes a minute. Can't say I'm a huge fan of power folding seats. I had another Pacifica loaner earlier this year, and I was amazed at how easy and light it was to manually deploy the stow and go third row seats. That one didn't have a power folding third row. This kind of takes a while. Again, I guess I don't have to stand here and wait, but manual stow and go seats are super fast and super easy to operate. I guess these are fine too, just a little bit more complicated and a little bit more expensive. Other things back here, you've got a 12-volt power outlet, USB-A and USB-C port. Only on the passenger side over here, all there is a power recline button. You get that on both sides, and then there's a sunshade in this window. It's kind of nice. Let's take a look at the second row before we move up front. So this one has this feature where you wave your foot under the door and it activates the power sliding door. So in the second row, plenty of family-friendly features. Here you've got a pop-out screen. You can play all kinds of games on that. It's pretty neat. HDMI, USB-A, and then a headphone port. Here's your headphones. Here's your remote down there. Power button for the door, handle, light, coat hook, vent. See all that? Nice big panoramic sunroof, and there's even another one over the third row seats. There's also a camera here so that parents can keep tabs of kids in the back. Let's move around to the other side and I'll demonstrate the stow and go second row. So I moved the passenger seat up a little bit because you have to do that for this to clear. So it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but basically pull this, lift this up, and then I'm gonna hold that with my leg, and then you kind of, yeah, so you do have to move these seats. The second row isn't quite as effortless as the third row, but once you get it, you have to remember to flip this out. That leaves you with a lot of space. So you can pretty quickly turn this from a 7-passenger vehicle into a 2-passenger vehicle with a massive cargo hold. That's pretty nice. All right, here's a look at the window sticker. So this is a 2021 Chrysler Pacifica Limited all-wheel drive with the S appearance package. Total price is $50,180. It uses the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, and it returns 20 mpg city, 25 highway, and 20 combined. This vehicle is also available as a plug-in hybrid that can travel on electric power alone for, I believe, about 30 miles, and then returns pretty impressive fuel economy after that. I think it's rated at about 30 mpg combined. And the PHEV is eligible for a $7,500 federal tax credit. Unfortunately, though, the Pacifica Hybrid is not available with all-wheel drive, so there's definitely a trade-off there. New infotainment system for 2021, really high resolution. It's a really nice looking screen. Unfortunately, though, it's a little bit busy. There's just a lot going on there. If you're driving along, it's going to be difficult to quickly gather information from this screen if you're just glancing at it. I'd like to see this simplify a little bit. Anyway, though, other things. USB-C and USB-A up front. Here's your Blu-ray player for these screens. In the backs of the seats here, cup holders, wireless charging pad, some storage here. There's also a USB-C and USB-A port. You've got 4 USB-A ports and 3 USB-C ports. There's also a 12-volt outlet right there. That can be covered. Armrests are attached to the seats. Screen in the gauge cluster. One thing I noticed is I really like these sunroof controls. So this controls the glass and then this controls the shade. It's nice that they're separated into 2 different things here. So that puts the shade back. You can choose to put it back even further if you want. Then this button controls the sliding, but we can leave that go for now. There's also a mirror here, so you can look at the kids via the mirror. And then there's also, if I can find it here, vehicle fam cam. That shows you what's going on in the back seats. Other than that, not a lot has changed here. Build quality is okay. The vehicle makes a good first impression. When you start poking around here, though, you will notice some things that maybe could be done a little bit better. I noticed this on the door right here. I'm not sure if this is a molding issue, but there's these 2 little, they're like dashes, but they're raised. I don't think they're supposed to be there. If you look over here, you don't see anything there. Right here, see those? Yeah. So, make of that what you will. Anyway, though, let's go for a ride. Gotta say, I really like this vehicle. This is nowhere near my demographic. I don't have any kids. I like to do outdoorsy stuff, so I prefer trucks and SUVs. But this thing's just really nice to drive, and it's easy to drive. There's 50, so it felt pretty slow right there. I've never noticed this thing being particularly slow prior to that, but that was not a fast acceleration at all. Overall, pretty comfortable. Suspension's pretty soft, not too soft. It's pretty quiet in here, even with the seats all folded down. Infotainment system is pretty sharp, even though, like I said, it's also extremely busy. I wish they'd clean this up a little bit. If you need a family vehicle, the Pacifica is pretty competitive. Chrysler was first to the market with a minivan back in the 1980s. They kind of started this segment. Toyota and Honda have kind of taken it over in recent years. The Pacifica was previously known as the Town and Country, and this current generation Chrysler minivan was a pretty big change for Chrysler. So I think they took the opportunity to kind of rebrand their minivan. That's where they gave it this Pacifica name. The Pacifica name was previously used on a 3-row family crossover SUV from Chrysler. So they kind of took an SUV name and applied it to this vehicle, I think, to make it seem like it maybe has a little bit more utility than Chrysler minivans past. Handling's good. If I were buying one of these, I would have a hard time passing up the Pacifica Hybrid. It goes about 30 miles on a charge. You have to plug it in, but once it's charged, it goes about 30 miles on a charge, and then after that, it returns 30 mpg combined, which is pretty good for a vehicle of this size. And then on top of all that, it's eligible for a $7,500 federal tax credit. You can pretty often find really good financial incentives from Chrysler on the Pacifica, and especially it seems on the Pacifica Hybrid. So you don't sacrifice much in terms of performance. You get significantly better fuel economy, and you can usually find the Pacifica Hybrid for the same price, if not less, than the Pentastar V6 powered Pacifica here. So to me, going with the hybrid is kind of a no-brainer. The only drawback though is if you really do need all-wheel drive, only the V6 non-hybrid Pacifica is available with all-wheel drive. Going over some speed bumps here. This one's at about 22 miles per hour. So it was okay. Some sport utility vehicles are a little bit softer going over those, but they have a little more suspension travel. So that was fine, I guess. Didn't rattle around too much. Seating position's nice. Seat's pretty comfortable. Heated, ventilated, heated steering wheel. So there is your look at the 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. The minivan market really consists of just 4 vehicles now. You've got the Pacifica, the Toyota Sienna, which is all new for 2021. You've got the Honda Odyssey, which will probably be all new in a year or two. It's been out for a few years in its current form. And then there is the upcoming Kia Carnival, which will serve as a replacement for the Kia Sedona. The Sedona had been out for a while. The Carnival is all new. It's already been revealed in Korean market form, and it looks pretty impressive. The common theme here is that minivans are starting to get a little bit more SUV-like. The Sienna, the Pacifica are both available with all-wheel drive. The Sienna comes exclusively as a hybrid. The Pacifica here is available as a hybrid. It doesn't seem like the Carnival will offer all-wheel drive or will offer a hybrid version, and the Odyssey doesn't offer all-wheel drive or a hybrid version. I think that could change coming up. But either way, all the vehicles in the minivan segment are pretty competent. What I like about the Pacifica in particular, stow and go seating, lots of family-friendly features. These screens behind the front seats here have games, which is really cool, especially if you're like 8 years old. So I think that's got to be compelling for a lot of parents, as are these cameras in this rear view cabin mirror here. So what I'm getting at is you really can't go wrong with the Pacifica. I think the drawback is probably build quality. Unfortunately, Chrysler products just generally don't have the best build quality. But if you're going to be leasing this vehicle, then that's not really your problem. And even if you wanted to buy it, generally you can get this vehicle with some pretty good financial incentives. So if that's the case, what you might kind of sacrifice in long-term build quality, you might make up for early on by getting this vehicle for less than what you pay for a similar Sienna or Odyssey. So on that note, I think that about sums up the Pacifica. Thank you for watching.